am Gayatri, working as Assistant Professor in EC Department at SNS College of Technology. Today I am going to take a subject of Principles of Communication System under the unit on wireless communication, and I am going to discuss about the topic of access methods, and in specific I am going to discuss about the time division multi-access. Before dealing with the time division multi-access, first I am going to describe about the frequency division multi-access and then TDMA. Now see the figure, we are having the three uses. FDMA is nothing but the frequency will be changes for each users. The user 1 where the frequency is low, the user 2 which is having somewhat low, and user 3 will be having the high frequency, and in between the three users the guard bands are used to avoid the interferences. And coming to the time division multi-access TDMA, each user, three users will be allotted the same frequency, but the time will be different, T1, T2, T3. And user 1 will be communicating in T1 and user 2 will be communicating in T2, user 3 will be T3, and each will be having some frame structures that will be discussed on later on slides. And the time division multi-access TDMA divides the entire radio spectrum into time slots, and in each slot only one user is allotted to either transmit or receive. Each user occupies a cyclically repeating time slot. The TDMA system transmits the data in buffer and burst method. This makes the transmission a discontinuous one. Hence, this makes the TDMA system more suitable for digital system. System uses TDMA where the 2G generation uses a TDMA system. The system uses TDMA FDD methods for duplexing and multi-access. In TDMA time division method, the single frame will be used for forward link for half of the duration and as reverse for another half period. In TDMA FD frequency division, two different frames will be used for forward and reverse link, but the carrier frequency will be different. In understanding the frame structures, the user 1 is having a individual frame structure, user 3 will be having different frame structures, and user 3 will be allotted to the different frame structures. See with a picture, the user 1 will be communicating in one time, and user 2 will be communicating in another time, and user 3 will be communicating in another time. And each time it is having a frame structures, and user where single user and n number of time we are communicating abdina, the user 1 வந்து we are communicating in different time abdina, user 1 again they are communicating abdina, it is allotted to some other time, and user 2 same, user 3 adhe madi, then user 1, 2, 3, then they are communicating in different time period, each time will be allotted. And then TDMA frame structures, the preamble, information message and trial bits will be there. One TDMA frame will be having this three difference, and the information message where will be having slot 1, slot 2, slot 3 up to slot n, and the each slot will be having a trial bit, synchronous bit, information datum and guard bits. First, coming to preamble, it just consists of address and synchronous bits which is used by base station subscriber to identify each others. Information, it consists of multi-slot of useful information. Each slot will be having trial bit, synchronous information bit and guard bits. And last one is our trial bits. Okay, coming to the features of TDMA. In the case of TDMA, the single carrier frequency is shared among the several users. The time slot used by the user depends on several factors such as modulation technique and the available bandwidth. The hands-off process is much simpler in the case of TDMA because of its discontinuity, and it is able to listen to the other base station during its ideal time slot. The third point, the transmission rate are very high in the case of TDMA as compared to FDMA because of adaptive equalization method. Therefore, the guard time present in the case of TDMA should be minimum. The main advantage of TDMA is that it is very cost effective. The TDMA technology is used to separate the user in time and ensure that there will not be any interference which is presented among any other simultaneous transmission. Then coming to the efficiency in TDMA, the calculation of efficiency become trivial as TDMA has high overhead than a FDMA. Efficiency which will be calculated by NF, which is equal to 1 minus POH by BT, is a number of overhead by total number of bits into 100%. The number of overhead can be calculated by this formula. NR, which represents reference burst per frame, and BR represents the overhead bits per reference burst, and NT represents the traffic burst per frame. BP represents overhead bits per preamble in each slot, and BG represents the number of equivalent bits in each guard time interval. And BT, which is equal to TF into R, which is frame duration. R is a channel bit rate. A number of channels in TDMA which can be calculated by using N is equal to M into B total minus 2 guard rate by BC, which is M is a maximum number of TDMA users. It also important note that two guard bands, one at the lower and other at the higher end of the allotted frequency, are required to ensure that the user at the edge do not bleed over into the adjacent radio channels. Thank you for listening.